Well, it looks like Symplified's batting cleanup here for the preview companies, which is actually pretty appropriate because the more SaaS applications that customers are adopting, the more value you get from our service, because what we're doing is really enabling better management and security of these SaaS applications, as well as easing the integration of them. So just a quick level set. Security challenges that are facing enterprises today. Really, this is the internet environment. So we still have the same issues of thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of users that we're trying to manage access to our applications for. Again, being the internet environment, these applications are globally distributed. But the new challenge that we have now with the advent of SaaS and the pervasiveness of it is that these applications you're trying to manage access for are no longer within the four walls of your enterprise. They're outside in co-location facilities managed by many of the companies here today. So as SaaS becomes more business critical and you put more value into the applications that you're using, and there's personnel information in there, there's financial information, there's customer contact information, as well as company information, these become very important into your infrastructure. So you really need to think of a better model on how do you secure and control access to these applications. So I suppose if there's investors still left in the room, this could be our market opportunity slide. I think it's a slide we've all seen before. SaaS is here to stay. The adoption of SaaS continues to grow, but for the few that are still out there that are still saying, I'm hesitant to adopt SaaS. I don't believe in it. It's something that I'm not interested in doing. The main reasons they give behind that are security and integration. So when I talk about security for SaaS, what exactly does that mean? I've really broken it down into 4 categories. Access management, simply put, how do I control access to the applications that I have? A centralized policy to control access for all my web-enabled applications. Who has access to what? Secondly, auditing and logging. If I've now provided an intelligent way to do access control and centralize the policy of that, now I have one place that I can go look at auditability, and for compliance, obviously, that's very helpful. Third, central deprovisioning. We leverage existing investments that you have in your Active Directory, LDAP, whatever you have there, so that when you are provisioning or deprovisioning to these SaaS applications, we enable you to do that and leverage what you do within your enterprise so that you're not going on a per application basis and trying to add and deprovision users with each of those applications individually. And lastly, single sign-on. Single sign-on is really the end user benefit to the intelligence that we're putting in place around centrally managing that access control policy. You're doing that, you're leveraging your existing user stores and pointing at these applications. End user benefit is because you've now got one place that you're pointing to, they've got single sign-on across all their web-enabled applications, as well as all their SaaS applications as well. So I guess the best way to describe this that we thought of is it's kind of the iTunes or the iPhone of identity. Meaning everyone in this room probably has an iPhone or knows somebody that has an iPhone. So think about the experience that you have when you go to the iPhone App Store. You go in there and you download an application and you use it. You don't understand what the technical underpinnings of that application are. You don't understand what protocols it's speaking. And you don't have to surely go ahead and once you've downloaded it, test to make sure that it works with your device. By the nature that you're a subscriber to AT&T's network in this case and have the Apple device, you know that those things have been pre-integrated and certified to work on your device. We work very much the same way. Whereas we are the ones that are saying we as the vendor take the onus on ourselves to go ahead and pre-integrate with all these SaaS application vendors, with all these cost application vendors as well, so that when people have credentials and sessions that they have on site that they've maybe authenticated via AD or LDAP, and say, I want to carry that session and have a single sign-on across to all the SaaS destinations that our company is subscribing to, they don't have to do a pre-integration. They don't have to integrate with every one of these SaaS destinations. They come and they subscribe to our service, they go up onto our GUI, and they simply activate. And we like to call it activation, not integration, because as we continue to build this network of destinations that we support, that network becomes larger and larger, and the number of applications that you can put under one consolidated security policy and have single sign-on to continues to grow. The reason we can do this is because a lot of the intelligence in our product is in the cloud. So once we do pre-integration, let's say we support a Salesforce or a Workday or a Google Apps, and we understand what the authentication protocols are to these applications. Once we do that one time, we've done that integration, all of the subscribers on our network benefit. So really, it's really turning the model on its head, whereas Identity access control has historically been something where you buy heavy software, have heavy integration, and every single application that you want to integrate with, you are doing custom integration and custom project for every single one of those. We're really flipping that model and say, we, the vendor, are taking the onus on ourselves to do all the pre-integration with all these applications. We can do that in the cloud. We can do it once. That's why it's a model that scales for us, so that when people want to add more and more destinations to put under one consolidated security policy across the cloud, all they need is a relationship with Symplified. So at the end of the day, what you have is a simple way to manage access control. You've got one place for auditability. You've got compliance that you're adhering to, and all your users have single sign-on for all their web-enabled applications that they may be using internally within their enterprise, but also across the cloud and all the SaaS destinations that your company may be subscribed to. And we give you a reusable IT infrastructure. They may only be using three SaaS applications, 4 or 5, but as our network continues to grow, and we continue to work with the customers with the biggest footprint, you can bet that when they start to upgrade and add more and more SaaS destinations, those are destinations that we support within our infrastructure. Therefore, again, those fall under your consolidated security policy that you can see and have single sign-on to. The net of this is we have a couple different deployment models, but in each one of these cases, we work with existing infrastructure investments that you already have to make it a very easy integration. Just a quick net on Symplified. The founders of Symplified were the founders of Securant Technologies. Securant was one of the leading and first identity access management web single sign-on vendors back in the mid-90s, really focused on the Fortune 1000 enterprise. Eventually that company was acquired by RSA Security back in 2001. Also the founders were integral in development of SAML. If you're not familiar with SAML, Security Assertion Markup Language, it is really the standard protocol that is used to exchange security credentials across domains today. Our funding today is by Granite Ventures and Allegis Capital. And just to wrap up, why Symplified? We give you an 80% lower cost of ownership than anything else on the market as far as doing access management, web single sign-on. But more importantly than that, we are the only ones that give you the ability to do web single sign-on and access control, not only across your enterprise applications, but across the cloud, to extending that to all the SaaS destinations that you are subscribed to. Fastest time to market, again, this is an industry that historically has been one where you buy heavy software, get a lot of integrators to do the work, and for every single application that you want to bring under your security policy and integrate with, it's a custom job. We can get you up and running in days. Single point ecosystem is, again, one connection. You subscribe to our service. The onus is on us as the vendor to go ahead and integrate with all these different applications so that you don't have to. And lastly, when I say reduce friction, many of the SaaS vendors in the audience, and some of them have come up and talked to us and said, am I the one that subscribes to your service? Do we pay for your service? The answer is, in some cases, potentially yes. But in most cases, you would be part of our network. We'd say, hey, are you someone that has a big footprint and you have users that are coming to you and saying, love your application, love the functionality, but you guys are off-premise. Now you guys don't fall under our security policy. You're yet another sign-on. Is there some way that I could get single sign-on to your application? What we do is we enable you to have a very simple removal of that obstacle where you say, well, if you're a subscriber to Symplified, you not only can integrate that with your internal policies of when people are authenticated on-premise, but they have a network of SaaS application providers that they can actually put into that policy and have single sign-on to. So it really removes that obstacle of when people are asking you for single sign-on, you have a very much easy solution and affordable SaaS solution to be able to recommend to them. And that's it. Thank you very much. We are outside in the orange booth if you have any questions.